What's going on, y'all? We're back with another reaction video. Today we got film study from Jackson Kruger Sports. Why could the pass rush of the Eagles get a sack versus the Chiefs? Looking forward to this detailed analysis. Shout out to him. Let's go ahead and check this out. Let's get educated, you know what I'm saying, on the big game.
So how the hell did the Kansas City Chiefs not get sacked in the game against the best pass rush in football?
I'm gonna say this: Mahomes' mobility helped them too, definitely, because it was some close calls where, you know, he scooted up in the pocket or he took off where they were very close. But him as a passer, man, he did a good job there too. But overall, man, he did good.
Football, what happened? Well, there were so many different things that went into the Chiefs being able to keep Patrick Mahomes from getting sacked. One of them being Patrick Mahomes himself, but let's get into it. So this is the first matchup. The matchup we were probably most concerned about if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. It's Andrew Wiley going up one.
I don't mean to keep pausing, but imagine all the people who place bets on specific players on the Eagles D-line getting sacks, or just place bets on them getting sacks as a unit. Like that, I'm pretty sure they lost so much money.
One against Hassan Reddick. Wiley, easily the worst offensive lineman for Kansas City. You know, he was there as a starting tackle in that, you know, infamous Super Bowl where they, you know, got beaten by Tampa Bay. So, you know, he was looking to redeem himself, and I would say he did. Going up one-on-one against Hassan Reddick. And here's something that I think definitely favored Kansas City. Right when this play begins, you see how he gets his right arm, and he really, I mean, he just grabs on to Reddick, which is okay, right? Typically what you do is when you have, you know, the way that they call holding is they'll let you grab on. The issue is if you start pulling once you've grabbed on, that's when they typically throw the flag for an offensive lineman. So that's going to be the question. Does he start pulling or does he not start pulling? And I actually think this is a good no call. Watch, you're going to see, I mean, I think he does a good job, in my opinion, of not.
Oh, that was a nice quick hold too. I seen a post. I said in a reaction video of the Super Bowl, I said I think they're going to end up trying to ban the push that Philly was doing, and I've been seeing reports about it all day that they gonna try to ban it. So it's kind of crazy. NFL just don't like unstoppable stuff like that. Like, yeah, but that was a nice, quick, subtle hold.
Not getting to position. Reddick didn't like it. Reddick thought that it should have been a flag. But
I'll go timestamp it.
Again, being able to kind of use his hands and get his hands in position was a key factor in Wiley being able to slow down Reddick. And here's where I actually have a criticism of what Philadelphia did in this one. Philadelphia, they put Reddick on Wiley for most of this one, which is what they typically do. Reddick likes to play on the right side. That's what they typically do.
Sheesh.
But I was wondering if they were going to put him on the left side to take advantage of his explosiveness against Orlando Brown Jr., who that's not what he really does. He's not a great speed guy. He's their left tackle. So felt like they had a mismatch there that they didn't exploit. Although, to be clear, I just thought Wiley just played well in general for Kansas City. I thought he just had a good day for the most part, and this is going to be an example.
I saw something I was talking about it the other day. What's your thoughts on the Cardinals hiring the Eagles defensive coordinator? I didn't even know who he was, honestly. Like, no offense to him, but I didn't know the defensive coordinator name. I just saw a video about it earlier today.
Example of it where he's going to be going up one-on-one once again. This time it's going to
we'll
be
see how it play out,
Graham, who's really just going to try to bull rush him here. That's what's going to happen. Watch as Brandon Graham goes in, and, you know, he gets the hand placement he wants. This is just going to come down to power. So again, when you're in a situation where you have to try to hold your own against a very powerful edge rusher in Brandon Graham, not always easy. However, Wiley is able to hold on and do a pretty good job of holding, you know, on to Graham and not letting him.
That's good job by both players right there.
Mahomes was eventually able to make.
Good job by Mahomes getting the ball out, bro. I ain't gonna lie, like
that throw. So again,
that goes to play calling too. I think. Okay, of course, Chiefs O-line, but Mahomes as well, and then a play calling. If you draw up enough plays where you have that dump off option or that quick pass option, like it's just like all three of them had to be working in unison for that game to play out with them getting 0 sacks.
really good stuff by Wiley. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, a big part of how the Chiefs were able to win this one is because Mahomes got rid of the football so quickly. And listen, on select plays, that's
D-Hop to
true.
be more
This
would
one's
be
going to be an
fire.
example where
I ain't gonna
Patrick
lie.
Mahomes on this play,
Low key.
really take a look at any defensive lineman you want to look at. Look at any one of them on the field and watch how they have no chance because by the second they really even create any contact, the ball is out of Mahomes'
That's good play
hands.
calling.
That happened, but I don't think it happened as much as people realize. Mahomes' time to throw in this game was 2.85. That's his average for the season. So he did not get rid of the football any quicker in this game than he has all season. And that's not on the low end either. I mean,
Maddox.
we're talking about
Why you keep saying Maddox?
he has all season. And that's not on the low end either. I mean, worker in this game, 5.
When he was in coverage?
That's his average for the season. So he did not get rid of the football any quicker in this game than he has all season. And that's not on the low end either. I mean, we're talking about, 2.85. That puts him at 26th fastest time to throw on the year out of 40 eligible quarterbacks. So he's one of the slow. He holds onto the ball for longer than the average quarterback does, but he takes select moments to get rid of the football quickly. That's kind of the difference. He kind of picks and chooses when to hold on to the ball for a while and when not to. Like, in fact, this is a great example of how, they say sacks are a quarterback stat, and there's definitely some truth to it, as a quarterback probably has the one significant most impact on whether or not he will be sacked. Him alone is the player who contributes the most out of any other select player, and this is going to be an example of it, where you have Hassan Reddick, who's going to, it's a stunt right here. You have your defensive lineman run kind of from the right to the, from the left to the right, kind of, hopefully you're going to get into position where Reddick can get a straight shot to Mahomes. That's what you're hoping for. On top of this, you have Josh Sweat, who is going to try to beat Orlando Brown with speed. And spoiler alert, both of these two situations are going to work. So
That's actually a nice play call. Actually, a really nice play call. Got one-on-one matchups with hopefully getting a 2-on-1. Bring up Reddick for a free rush. Now, if they keep McKinnon in to block, then Chiefs could have the advantage on that. So I could see how that plays out with them if they do that. If they don't, then kudos to them if they can avoid a sack and McKinnon isn't blocking. But I'm pretty sure he'll chip somebody here.
So on paper, this should be a struggle for Mahomes. Right when this play begins, you're going to see that eventually
chips. Got 2-on-1 on the end. Reddick has a nice rush right here. Josh Sweat coming in too.
They are able to get pressure.
Oh, he's got this ball out.
It's a dangerous situation, but this is where the value of Mahomes comes in.
I think I remember this exact play. I think this was in the second quarter. For sure in the first half, if I'm not mistaken.
No one avoids sacks better than Mahomes, and while there's pressure coming from multiple sides, while getting hit, he still gets the ball out, and, that was the play where they didn't rule a penalty on James Bradbury when they probably should have, and that's how they were able to, why it wasn't a completion, but it was a good play from Mahomes and probably should have ended up in a completion or at least in a penalty because he was able to get the ball off. Also, little things, stuff like this, where, when people talk about avoiding pressure, they don't often talk about this part of it, which is picking up blitzes. The Eagles are going to be blitzing on this play, and you see why this could be a disaster. I mean, you have I've showed 4 of the offensive linemen plus Travis Kelce and where they're blocking on this play.
They got 7 blocking right here. Chiefs play calling. This is definitely in their favor. Because if they blitz this, you definitely have some one-on-one matchups, and you got some shifty receivers out there. So,
but with 2 linebackers blitzing through the middle, we call it a double A gap blitz. You only have one center who can block. So what do you do here? Well, watch as when that happens.
Somebody chipped on the left side.
You only have one center who can block. So what do you do here? Well, watch as when that.
Oh, I thought this was that play. Okay, I didn't know for sure, but I thought this was that play. It was the play he threw the touchdown to Sky Moore.
That happens. You see McKinnon does such a good job of putting himself in position to be able to block Edwards. So Mahomes getting ready to throw the football, but right here, you don't have to worry too much because you have someone to account for everybody. Mahomes does end up hitting a wide open Sky Moore that was on one of the fake motion
Great
plays
play
there,
calling.
and that gave them the touchdown to put them up 8 points. So again, just different ways that you can, really, I mean, you saw the Eagles, they tried to counter the Chiefs' offensive line. They tried to figure out ways to get pressure because they weren't getting pressure. It wasn't just like the Chiefs had an answer and that was the end of it.
It's Devin Haney. I listened to one of his interviews, and Derrick Henry, boxer and a boxing coach, but they said some similar things. I'd have to go back and find exactly what Derrick James said. But Devin Haney said when he was fighting his opponent, he said we looked at everything that he does well, and we're going to take that away from him. So it's like the same mindset. Derrick James said something similar to it, but I can't think of what he said. But that's kind of what they did against the Eagles defensively. They see that the pass rush is elite, and that's what they just schemed around. We're going to take that away from them. We're going to make sure that they can't get to the quarterback. We're going to do it to the best that we can. And, I think that was a great game plan. Just avoid getting sacked, avoid taking sacks, because we see that there are enough holes in their secondary and the way they play on the back end that we can definitely win there. They did a good job there, definitely.
Once the Chiefs had an answer, the Eagles tried other things, but they had answers for those other things as well. And one of the other things that I thought they did well was they helped out their tackles early on in the game. They kind of realized they didn't have to a little bit later, but they helped out. Andrew Wiley, they're going to help him out, where you have a tight end who's going to start off blocking Reddick, and then he's going to go out and run a route, and then eventually Wiley will block him. And watch how this works. You're going to see, first off, it's really good blocking by that tight end to put himself in position to where you're going to see, first off, it's really good blocking by that tight end to put himself in position to where Reddick eventually slipped and fell. But as he's in this spot, Wiley.
Bro, Chiefs are cracking the code. I ain't gonna lie. This is the third elite defensive line that they've played in the Super Bowl, and they made this one look pedestrian. They also somewhat made the secondary look pedestrian. They cracking the code right now. I ain't gonna lie. We'll see what this I don't know, man. We'll see what the future brings for them, but they elevating for sure. It's just scary to think like what they can do in the future,
Really is not had to do anything. You've had an offensive lineman just basically get to hang out.
Eric Bieniemy in Washington
already coming out of Mahomes.
I like Eric Bieniemy in Washington, but I don't like Eric Bieniemy in Washington because I like the idea of him being in a new place, so we can see if he can do what he did in Kansas City. Now we know Andy Reid has a lot of hands on the offense, so maybe Eric Bieniemy is going to get like full reign in Washington. But at the same time, it's like he went from OC to OC, So it's like, why didn't he get a head coach position? That's kind of weird. I'm not going with the. I'm not going. Make a case for what everybody else is saying right now. I just don't understand the move on a personal level from him. Because if he's not getting paid more, which he probably is, he probably getting paid more and getting more power of an offense of his own. They got some solid weapons, but why go from a Super Bowl team to another team if you're not gonna be the head coach? But I mean, that's his choice. He probably got a plan for himself. Somebody had to have wanted him to be the head coach. Had to. If it literally was no team that wanted him to be the head coach that actually interview the Chiefs, then definitely I ain't gonna lie, I'd probably say something up there for sure, some discrimination. But if somebody did ask and he chose that route, then I'm curious what his mindset was. I think Washington's gonna draft a quarterback later. Probably gonna actually call plays this time. He's getting paid more in Washington. I could see that. That's the only reason why I could see it. If he's getting paid more and he has complete control of the offense, that's reasonable. But yeah, I guess I could understand that. and it's a project team, so he's gonna go out there and prove himself. They have weapons already, so it's like, okay, he got something to work with. Hey, I ain't gonna lie though, that's gonna be fire. I was saying that during a lot of the Commanders highlights this year. Like, bro, if they had better play calling, Terry McLaurin, even some of the highlight videos that I reacted to, Terry McLaurin, De'Ami Brown, Curtis Samuel, and Jahan Dotson, and you have Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson, and they got pretty solid run blocking. You know, like you can do some stuff with that. I ain't gonna lie. So we'll see how that plays out. But
Mahomes' hands as of right now. That's all you had to protect for, and they were able to protect for that one. Mahomes does make a perfect throw to Travis Kelce, and again, stuff like this was how they were able to avoid the pass rush. And while a lot of people say, you know, pass rush is how you win football games in the NFL, that might have used to been the case. It's not really the case right now. There are ways around it, especially if you have really good offensive linemen like the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, that helps, of course. But there's other ways around it, such as chipping. You know, offensive linemen can get away with more grabbing than they ever have been, so that obviously helps. Mahomes did such a good job in his own right of getting rid of the football when he could, and also they didn't have too many plays where just nobody was open, and they also didn't have too many third down and long obvious passing situations. The majority of sacks happen on third downs because you get those like third down and 12 situations where a quarterback holds on.
I'll wrap it up here. It's only 30 seconds left. Shout out to Jackson Kruger for this vid. I think we can just wrap it up and see that play calling, offensive line, and Patrick Mahomes' mobility were all in sync and did such a great job as a unit. Them three things where they were able to avoid the Eagles getting a single sack. This is gonna be scary, man. I ain't gonna talk too much about it. I'm gonna do another reaction video that has something to do with Super Bowl, so we'll jump to this conversation that I want to talk about in the next vid. So hit the like button for me, subscribe, stay tuned, stay blessed.